listen to the podcast, listen to the podcast, swearing spoilers and your opinions, listen to the podcast. Oi!
He was literally practicing that.
I practiced that.
Yeah.
The drive on the way here, I practiced that. So I hope you're proud of me.
I'm not.
Enjoy the podcast, everyone.
Hello and welcome to 250 Reasons to Stay Indoors. I'm Jordan.
I'm Keiran.
And this is the podcast where we watch the IMDb top 250 films, we say stuff about them, and then we let you know whether it was worth staying indoors for or not. In this episode, we will be watching Mad Max Fury Road.
Fury Road!
Keiran just made a bloody gesture to the gods. This film came out 2015, if you didn't know that already, and at the time of recording, which is right now, it is number 203 on the list. So, Keiran, you got a prediction for this film?
I've seen some bits and bobs of trailers, and I've seen, judging by the name and all that stuff, and I've seen some movie posters when it came out. When did it come out? 2015?
2015, yeah.
So, I know it's part of the apocalypse, and it's big cars, and it's in the desert.
Yeah.
I think it's a racing film.
A racing film.
Where they just race really big cars in the desert. And they're going through sand dunes. It's like Mario Kart. You know,
Mario Kart. I think it looks a lot more intense than Mario Kart.
Yeah, but it's like a big, intense Mario Kart. So you know, in that, it's one of those circuits that's really, really crazy. Where there's it's in the desert, and you can get in the sink sand and all of that.
Yeah.
Quicksand. That's the one. And there's maybe the bits of fire and stuff, and it's a bit mental. I reckon it's that, but with really big cars and guns.
Yeah. I mean, having watched the trailer, it's very hard not to just think that's pretty much what it's going to be. Mad Max, a man called Max, who's probably either mad as in angry or mad as in mental or both. And then Fury Road, a road, I reckon it's just a long drag race. And everyone's just really angry, I guess. So yeah, big cars, dusty planes.
When you say drag race,
do
you mean two cars driving in the same direction, going very fast and seeing which one wins? Or do you mean drag queens like RuPaul?
Come on, Keiran. I obviously mean like RuPaul.
Okay. Yeah. So Mad Max is the lead drag queen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But also drives cars.
They call him that because he beat the last person that stepped on his authority as lead drag queen.
Okay. I see. That's cool. Is it still the apocalypse? Where did you get makeup in the apocalypse?
You just make it, don't you? Out of I don't know, tortoise shells and sand.
And they crush little plants that they have left over?
Yeah, I think it's easy to make makeup in the desert. Yeah, clay. That's the original makeup.
That's okay, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a quick thing
that
I was thinking about the name Mad Max.
Yeah.
Did they go through a bunch of other names that also have...
Mad Matt.
Mad Matt?
Mad Matilda.
Mad Madeline.
Mad Madeline, yeah.
Mad Mandy.
Yeah. Mad McElvoy.
Mad Mark.
I like that one. Mad Mark. He's angry.
Mad Michael.
Mad Michael.
Mad
Matthew. Biblical.
Oh. that could be a thing. Yeah. Mad Matthew. Biblical.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I'm going to get biblical on his ass.
I'm picturing that's a really tall black pastor.
No, actually, I think that's... I might have just ripped that straight out of Pulp Fiction. I'm going to get biblical on that. Yeah, it's something from that, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I've not seen it.
No. Tune in for that episode, though. It's going to be a hoot.
Okay, but that's...
So let's go and watch the film now, yeah?
Yes, Mad Max.
Mad Max. Here we go. Fast cars.
Dust.
Sand. steam, petrol,
guns,
engines, loud noises,
and really ugly people sometimes.
Yeah, and a guy playing guitar, drums,
cellos,
mother's milk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what there was in this film.
I mean, that's pretty much all that was there. Are you ready with your 15-second pitch, Kieran?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Tom Hardy is, I think, Australian in this apocalyptic universe. He gets taken in by a bunch of people who live in a city, and he tries to run away with someone who's trying to transport some girls somewhere else, but then they have to go back to where they came, and some people die, some people don't, and loads of people get killed in guns and big cars and sand.
22 seconds. You're really not on point.
Oh, man.
You've gone so far. You've you were getting there, and now you've just
Just because there's so many things that happen. But
it was, yeah. I mean, it was a pretty scattered film. There's a lot of stuff happening.
What film?
Scattered.
Oh, okay.
Like it was. I mean, it was 2 hours long, and I felt those 2 hours. I've got to say.
There were points where I felt those 2 hours. It was basically one film where it was just stunts. The whole film. It was just basically a stunt film.
Yeah.
And so in terms of the actual story, maybe I could have summed it up a bit better and a bit quicker. But there's so many other things going on, like with all just the amount of sand and dust there was in that film was clouding my brain.
Yeah. I mean, to give a brief overview, it's basically just Tom Hardy gets captured, gets put in front of a car. They're chasing someone. They find the person, they find the women. He gets in the car. They keep going, and then they turn around and go back. It's sort of like a point A to B, and then back from B to A situation. They literally just go out and then come back.
Yeah, should we give more of a slightly bit more in depth?
Well, yeah, of course, but I'm just saying,
so you're just basically doing the 15-second pitch better.
Well, I wanted to have a go, Kieran. I mean,
okay, fine.
It's not fair that you always get to do it. No, I'm joking. It's fine. Okay, so a more in-depth look over the film then. So we came in with obviously Tom Hardy just doing that voiceover. The first thing I was thinking is just that his voice is like gravel in a black hole. It's like, my name's Tom Hardy.
Yeah. And is he Australian in this film?
No, I don't really know what's going on with his accent, because he's supposed to. Obviously, Tom Hardy is English in
real life,
born and bred in London, I believe.
Yeah, I reckon.
And I think he's putting on some sort of American accent, but it's just it differs a bit.
Well, this is what I'm saying, because he doesn't have a lot of lines of dialogue in this film.
No,
and I reckon, does he not have a lot of dialogue because he doesn't really have a great American accent? And also, maybe in this universe, in this Mad Max apocalypse world, there's a bunch of accents from everywhere, really. It's not as if it's just American or Australian or English or anything like that. It's kind of all of it.
Mm.
So I don't know, maybe somehow in this apocalyptic universe, there's just a mixture of all these different accents.
Maybe. Yeah, I was definitely hearing South African as one.
Really?
Or Australian, South African sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that accent is basically the same thing, isn't it? Really,
it really isn't. But
pyrotechnics. There was plenty of those in this film. Pyrotechnics.
Oh yeah, definitely were a lot of pyrotechnics. Yeah, that's for sure.
I think it was great. There was a lot of just petrol and loud noise. Really revs you up.
Yeah.
Excuse the pun.
Hey, nice.
Hey.
But I just think that for the apocalyptic universe, I can only assume that the reason why it's the post-apocalyptic place is because someone's messed up the environment so much. And
you don't really get much of an idea of who did that.
With non-renewable sources of energy, again.
We fucked the world, now we're fucked.
Exactly.
Okay, so...
let's do the proper synopsis.
Yeah, I mean, we were doing that. We just got a little bit sidetracked there.
Okay.
But, we come in with Tom Hardy just sort of doing a brief overview. You get this idea that Mad Max has maybe done some sort of he wasn't able to save some people or something like that.
Yeah, there's a few flashbacks.
He highlights at the start of the film that he was a policeman.
Really?
Yeah, he says he was a cop.
Oh.
And that was before it all went to shit. So then we sort of open with him on the what's it called, some sort of mountain sort of thing, and then he just grabs his shit and gets in the car and drives off.
He eats a lizard.
He eats a lizard, yeah.
Two-headed
that's
lizard.
Just welcome to the film.
Did you see that had two heads?
Two heads?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Two-headed
I didn't notice that. Maybe that's all the sort of radioactive shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of fucked things in this film.
Yeah.
Then there's the war boys start chasing him.
Mm-hmm.
He's obviously trying to get away, and then he gets captured.
So he gets captured by these war boys, and these war boys are these little kind of minions of a big civilization called the Citadel.
Yeah.
Right. And in the Citadel, there's one leader who owns all of the water that he pumps from the bottom of the earth, I guess.
And he goes by the name Immortal Joe.
Which is so
it's
lame.
Not very imaginative, is
so
it? I hear
bad.
that and I think like that's just like Junior League, WWE, like, and onto the stage in the red corner, Immortal Joe.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So Immortal Joe is this massive wanker who lords over everyone and is this massive dictatorship, basically.
Yeah.
Anyway, all of the slaves are really, really poor people who have no water or no food or anything.
But then, rich in life.
I don't think they are.
We don't know.
They're
Probably
really not.
Their quality of life looks quite poor.
Yeah, it looks really bad. All of the war boys are bald as hell, like no skin, ripped as shit.
Yeah.
And they're completely covered in this white paint stuff.
Yeah. Or is that just their skin? Like, are they just pale?
No. I don't know. I don't think so, because there's a clear distinction between all the people who were used for labour and work and the people who
that's
were
true.
Because
you see, like,
slaves.
even the little kids that are war boys, and they're still like really white and pale. And
exactly.
And
but
also,
go on.
Oh, they make a lot of points about the whole Half-Life thing. I don't really fully understand that. It's a science thing.
Should we come back to that later?
Yeah, we can do.
Because we're still doing the synopsis. So.
No, but all I was going to say is just that, like, maybe that's why they're so pale and weird. Is like they're not actually like human. Like, like they're a little bit fucked. So they're like
radioaction.
Yeah,
is that a word? Radioaction, radioactive stuff.
Yeah,
it deals with half-lives and stuff. So maybe they are these beings.
That's the science,
right? They are the beings that survived out of the radioactive shit.
Yeah,
and when they're at the end of their half-life, which is to do with radiation and shit, that's when they die for like the second time.
Bro, yeah, maybe.
Something like that.
Mate, I don't know the science, so I'm not going to pretend.
Anyway.
So then we sort of open in with him being captured, and then we get our first sort of view of the Citadel. And he's like, just being tattooed on the back. They're like, just giving his details. I'd like to understand, like, it doesn't look like they're advanced enough to be able to tell what type of blood type he is.
But then also, so it's all tattooed on his back.
Yeah.
And he's like strapped. He's not even strapped to like a table or anything. He's like chained.
Just taking it, isn't he? Really? Like,
well, we can't do anything about it because he's chained, and there's all these people all over him.
Yeah,
that are clambering all over him to cut his hair and do his tattoo at the same time, which I thought is a good use of time.
Yeah, productive.
But it's the least comforting tattoo and hair. Like,
well, I don't think they were going for comfort.
Yeah, 1 star on TripAdvisor.
Yeah, I would not be going back to that tattoo and haircut part.
Yeah, would not recommend. So he's doing all that, but he ends up breaking free.
Yeah, but this is what my point is about him not really doing much about it, because like they bring over the brand, they're like about to brand him, and he's like, oh no, actually that's going to really hurt. I should probably get out. And then he just goes like sort of a little bit rabid and like fucking starts smacking people and like gets free. And it's just like, well, why did you not do that earlier? Why does it take like someone to come over with a? They're already like cutting at you, and they've done like loads of tattoo on him. Like you can see they've covered his whole back, and they're down to like the bottom. To
give them a false sense of security, like I'm just going to take it now, and then he lashes out.
Oh mate, I don't think there's enough like mind to be playing mind games there. Like it's just not that kind of environment. It's not like James Bond. Like I imagine James Bond in this situation would not do very well.
I don't think so either. So he goes on this. He tries to run away.
Yeah.
And basically, he doesn't run away. But
they catch him basically. So as he's running through, this when you get your first like sort of full shot of the Citadel, because he's like running through all these things, and then he's having flashbacks, crashing through doors, and it's all like very fast paced, intense. And then he reaches like a ledge, and he just looks out, and it's just like he's on a cliff, and you can just see sort of the whole of this like wasteland. It's just like, I mean, I don't suppose you've played the game Fallout.
No,
or seen anything about it, but it's your classic, isn't it? It's your classic wasteland post-apocalyptic world.
It's a classic.
It is, yeah. Like tubes, a lot of like tubes and steam and rocks, sand, and like people wearing tattered clothes and stuff like that.
Yeah. So the next thing that happens is there's a woman in a big truck.
Yeah.
And there's all of the poor people on the ground. They've all amassed around. For the big leader, what's his name? Eternal Joe?
Eternal Joe. That's his cousin, Immortal Joe.
Immortal Joe is doing this big speech saying, we're off to get some more petrol and guns and bullets and stuff. So let's do this big send-off.
Yeah.
And this woman who's called Furiosa, she's driving this big, what's it called? The
tanker, like it's the war rig, isn't it?
The war rig, like yeah. So she drives the war rig. She's got a bionic arm, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And she goes away. So they're driving.
Oh, but before we get to that point, because they do the whole water ceremony thing, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, I mean, I just wanted to, like, they all come out with their pots and pans and stuff, and he's telling them not to, like, get addicted to water, and they're just, like, throwing it out from tubes. It's, like, the least, like, secure way to... If water is that much of a commodity around here, then why are you just, like, pouring it out onto the floor?
You're bringing out beefs in the synopsis section, Jordan. We said that we'd be more structured with this.
All right.
One thing at a time. So, next thing that happens, they're going off to find the bullets and the fuel and stuff. But she decides to go east, and she goes off the path, basically. And the people back at the Citadel, they're like, shit, what's she doing? Let's chase after her. So, the whole Citadel gets all of their war boys and stuff together. They all get in their big cars, and they all chase after her. Now, one of the war boys really, really wants to join, but he's unhealthy and he's about to die.
He's a bit sick. He's a poorly war boy.
He is a poorly war boy. And
that's a nice word to say.
Poorly war boy.
Poorly war boy.
But I'm also thinking that poorly might be Pauly.
Poorly.
As someone called Paul. My name's Paul.
Hey, war Paul W. boy.
Hey, Pauly war boy.
Poorly war boy.
Anyway, so he's sick, and the prisoners in this Citadel, they are used as like blood bags, blood bags. And so if someone's sick, they stick a needle in their arm, they take blood from the prisoners.
They're sick.
Yeah. So what this war boy was doing is he was like, all right, I'll just take some blood from this prisoner who is Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
So they're chained together, and in this chain there's also a blood drip line.
Yeah.
And so they put Tom Hardy at the front of a car.
Yeah.
And then they chase after...
Not like in the front seat, like actually at the front of the car.
Like, you know how a ship has a mast? No, not a mast.
No, yeah, what is it called? The figurehead, isn't it?
I don't know. Like,
I think it is just called a figurehead.
Right.
Potentially, I'm
so
not
like
sure.
The mermaid ship that you have at the front of a pirate boat. It's like that.
Yeah, but it's Tom Hardy and it's alive.
Exactly.
Or it's alive and it's Tom Hardy.
It sounds like the start of a comedy show. It's alive, it's Tom Hardy! Yeah. Well, and there's also a blood drip going to this guy who's driving the car. So they're chasing after this woman, chasing after Furiosa because she's gone rogue. And there's the whole of the fucking war party with Immortal Joe and driving his car. Sounds like a wacky racist kind of thing.
Yeah.
And anyway.
Just waiting for Dick Dastardly to like come in and make a scene.
Yeah. Long story short, Furiosa gets away.
Yeah.
And she's trying to run away with these five other women.
Well, I can't remember how many, to be honest. They're quite forgettable, to be honest.
I think there's 5. Mate, not to me. Talk about that in a minute. But, and Tom Hardy gets away as well.
Yeah.
But only after going through this ridiculous storm dust.
Yeah, like
that was mental. But this whole time, Tom Hardy is still chained to the war boy that was sick and giving him blood and all this stuff. So they wake up after this huge, massive storm. The whole war party is way back down the path. And Tom Hardy wakes up with sand all over his face, and which, by the way, I would have thought that he'd be suffocated by the sand, but that's a different thing. And he unchains himself, or like he takes the blood drip out.
Yeah.
And he realizes that he's still chained to this war boy, so he can't get away. But he sees the woman's big truck in the distance.
And they're sort of just off in the distance.
Right, so he walks towards her, and he's like, doesn't say anything, he just gestures with a gun and says, take this chain off me. And that's a song, isn't it?
Take this chain off me?
Yeah, I think
I'm not sure.
It's probably an old blues or something. Anyway, and so they're doing this whole thing where they're like, can we trust these people? Because there's these 5 women plus Furiosa who's fixing the truck, and these 5 women are like cleaning themselves with the water. Yeah. And I would have thought, like, come on, you're in the bloody post-apocalyptic wasteland. The last thing you want to do is clean yourself with the water that you have and just let it run all over the floor. Just fucking drink it. Anyway,
that's a beef, Keiran. And it sounds like they've got a lot of water, so I don't think they're really that fussed about it, to be honest. Okay. Anyway, it does look like it's the kind of scene that you'd have like in a Mirage, where you've been like walking the desert for like many days, and then you just come across like a tanker full of water and like 5 maidens in like silk sheets, like sort of bathing themselves in it.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. And one of whom is pregnant.
Yeah.
With, we later find out, the baby of Immortal Joe.
Yeah, they're his, what was it, breed stock or something like that. They were just basically like the hottest women in the Citadel. And he just sort of keeps them to himself and breeds with them. It's
great, isn't it? So essentially what happens now is the Immortal Joe and his whole crew, they find out that Furiosa is running away with these 5 women. And they're going to, what is it, the Green Place?
The Green Place, yeah.
Yeah. So they want to go somewhere where trees grow, and which is also where Furiosa was born. But the deal is that Immortal Joe doesn't want this to happen. He wants his property, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So
he does literally drop everything, doesn't he, just to like get them back. Like, and he sends out his entire sort of legion. So just takes everyone with him, like leaves a couple of like war boys at the sort of helm, but like takes like apparently like all of their bloody cars, and like they just drive off and literally drop everything.
It's his children essentially, especially because he was most precious about the woman that had his kid, like, about to be born. Yeah, and the reason why he's so hooked up about this is so that he can continue his lineage. His lineage.
Yeah. I don't know though, because they were writing, you see the writing in the like dorm that they have that's behind like some sort of safe door thing. And it's like, our children will not turn into war boys.
Yeah. So they don't want to be there.
I mean, it just sounds like he's breeding them to just literally be more like cannon fodder. Like, I'm surprised that he cares that much about it.
I don't know. Anyway, Furiosa ends up teaming up with Tom Hardy, kind of puts a very small amount of trust, because he realizes that they're running away from the same thing.
Yeah.
But little known to them that the war boy that Tom Hardy was linked to with the bloodline is actually still with them. It's actually still in the back of their truck.
Does she not know that?
No, not yet. I don't think so. Anyway, they're trying to go to this green place, and they go to this passage through the mountains. And she struck up a deal with the people in the mountains that they would hand over like fuckloads of, what was it, like petrol?
Yeah, it's, gasoline or something. Right.
Like 3,000 gallons or something like that.
300,000 or something like that.
No, whatever. And
a lot of gas.
And they were pissed because they were like, well, you said that there might be a few people following you. There's 3 massive war parties.
Yeah.
And she was like, sorry about that. Let's try and run through it. And so they try and run away and run through it.
Yeah, because at this point, not only do we have Immortal Joe chasing them, but you've also got the sort of all of the guys from Bullet Town, I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
And all of the guys from Gasoline Town. I don't know what that one was called. It's something like that.
Yeah.
So you've got literally like 3 massive parties all coming for them. So it's not only just like Immortal Joe sent all his guys, he's also got all of his buddies to come as well.
Exactly. So everyone's pissed off at them, but they managed to make it through the mountains. But in the process, the woman, so one of the 5 women, the one with the child about to be pregnant, she dies, basically.
Yeah, and it is a brutal scene as well. So does she get picked out by someone? Or no, she's trying to fix something. All right, so basically she's on the outside of this big war rig that they're driving, and they've obviously got loads of other war boys and people in like fast cars on either side of them. One of them sort of coming in towards the side that she's on, and Tom Hardy's like, move out the way. And she sort of like just manages to get in the crevice between the...
No. It's a rock that's sticking out. It's a rock that's sticking out from the side of the mountain. You're right, yeah. And so she's like poking her head out the side of the car because, that's what you do. Well, she's shouting at like fucking Joe. And so...
Immortal Joe actually points it out to her. He's move out the way.
He's like, move out the way, you're going to die. And so she moves out the way of this rock. And then... we find out that she doesn't get killed by this rock.
Yeah.
She looks at Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
And as if to say like, oh, I made it. And he fucking gives her a thumbs
up.
He
literally just looks at her sort of like a
nice one.
Yeah. And then a thumbs up, and it's just like, good job, kid.
Yeah. Time and a place.
Yeah.
But then she falls out of the truck.
And then gets hit by something and falls off underneath the truck. And Tom Hardy's just like, well, just keep driving, I guess.
Yeah.
So they keep driving. All the women in the back are like, no, we have to go back. And he's like, she went under the wheel. And Furiosa's like, did you see it? And he's like, she went under the wheel. So they just keep going.
And Immortal Joe end up finding out that this woman is indeed dead, but they cut the baby out of her.
No, they say she's breathing.
Okay.
Because the guy's like, he's like, oh, she's actually breathing. And he's like, what about the baby? He's like, I'm not sure. He's like, get it out. So then they like cut her open essentially. And I think the baby's dead. So he obviously like valued the child more than her because she was still sort of breathing. And he was just like, no, just cut her open and take it out.
Right. By this time, there's kind of a vibe established within the group that the war boy that was attached to Tom is cool now.
Yeah.
And this war boy is called Nox.
Yeah.
You got Nox, Tom Hardy, Furiosa, and 4 remaining women.
Yes. Yes. So there's the one with the short hair, the one with the red hair. No.
Yeah.
There's 4 remaining women. Oh yeah, you said Furiosa already, didn't you?
No. Furiosa and 4 remaining women.
Yeah, so Furiosa and 4 remaining women.
Yeah, so you got Furiosa.
I thought you were saying 4 remaining women, including Furiosa.
No. You've got so you got pixie cut woman. You've got
pixie
red
cut.
Yeah, that's the short hair.
Oh, okay.
You got redhead.
Yeah.
Brunette.
Yeah.
Blonde.
Yeah.
So there's a distinction between blonde pregnant and other blonde, but then other blonde also is actually pregnant, but
is
less
she?
pregnant.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so they drive through like a swampy thing. Like there's another point where there's like people chasing them and shit, and once they run away from them, they carry on driving through the night, and they're driving through what looks like a gross swampy place with loads of crows.
Yeah,
and it's really
and
cold
weird like stick walkie men.
Yeah, that looks really weird. They look like circus performers.
Yeah.
Anyway, they keep going, and they end up finding this pylon, like this big, essentially like a old electricity aerial thing. You know what I mean?
I can't remember this. No.
Yeah.
Pylon.
Because she's like, oh, that's bait.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Of course. I was thinking a pylon like a pole. I couldn't imagine what it is.
Anyway.
Yeah. Sorry.
And it turns out that it is bait. And Furiosa comes out and she's like, "This is who I am. This is where I was born, and this is my mum and my dad." And blah, 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 gives a whole life story. Bunch of people come down and suspecting like, who the fuck is this woman?
Yeah.
But she ends up being buddies with all of them.
Yeah.
And they're like, I remember you from back in the day. It's been like 20 years.
Yeah, 7,000 days. I was really trying to work out how many years that is.
Yeah, that's about 20 years.
It's like, like 1,000 in 3 years, roughly?
Yeah.
So 3 times 7 is... I need to know now. I need to do 21. It. 21? Okay, so 21 years. Okay,
yeah,
that's fine.
So the thing I said
Thank you.
initially was correct. You know. So, and they're like, well, what are we going to do now? And she's like, well, I came here to go to the green place. And these other people are like, well, if you came from west, you've actually, gone past it. Like, what are you on about? Well, yeah, we had to leave it all behind.
Yeah, you fucked it, mate.
Yeah, you've
gone too far.
Because we found out that actually the place with all the crows and the weird stick-walkie people, that was the green place.
Yeah.
And so now Furiosa...
It's all about your perspective.
Exactly. But now Furiosa's like, shit, everything that I've been dreaming for the past 21 years is actually all...
And we have like the most cliche... Walk out into the sand, sad strings playing. She falls to her knees and screams into the air.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not as nice as that. It's just a little bit... It's more...
Oh, thank you.
I mean, that was almost like singing.
Well, I didn't want to like actually scream because that's just a bit over the top, isn't it?
Okay, a bit too much for this. Okay, that's a little bit more. Anyway, so what they decide to do is they decide to go back to the Citadel.
Yeah.
And they're like, why the hell would you do that? And they're like,
they have like, they decide they're going to go, it's like 140 days or something. They could go out into the desert with the provisions that they've got. Tom's like, they're like, one of the motorbikes is for you, Tom. You can come with us if you want, but if you're not feeling it, that's cool. We understand. Just give us your number, dog, and
I'll make my own way.
Yeah. He's like,
make your own way where?
Exactly. So he's like gonna like head off, and then he's like, actually no, gonna a couple more flashbacks of the people he's like led down, and then he's like, nah, I'm gonna go meet up with them. Catches up with them, stops them, and he's like, right, let's just go back. And they're just like, they jump on that idea so easily, don't they?
Well, yeah, after a while, because they realised that that's the only place that they could actually grow shit.
Yeah.
So they thought, okay, well, actually, let's give this a shot.
Yeah.
And instead of going through the mountains and stuff, where they'd never make it, they decided to go back the way they came, which essentially they'd be running through the war parties that they'd just escaped from. Essentially, long story short, they make it through. They get to the Citadel. Everyone is happy ever after. They kill Immortal Joe.
Yeah, that's basically it. They just go through the war party and then go back, and the film pretty much ends there with them arriving at the Citadel, all safe and sound.
Starting a new civilization.
The crowd is incredibly accepting of their leader being killed.
Well, I think they realise that, and also they get loads of water.
Yeah, there ain't no honesty amongst Citadelians. Yeah,
is
Citadelians? Is that what we call them?
Citades?
Citades?
Yeah.
Never mind.
Okay, let's do it. Let's go into bits and bobs. Remember in the prediction?
Yeah.
When we said that, how was it? Like, how would people do makeup in the apocalypse? And we were saying, they might like crush up bugs and stuff.
Yeah, and clay.
Yeah. Well, in fact, Furiosa, when she's driving the car. Was driving this big massive war rig, when she realizes that she's going to have to face these other people again, she puts makeup back on her head, and it's like she's not just doing eyeshadow, she gets really carried away,
doing a whole forehead thing.
And she uses the oil like from her steering wheel.
Gross.
Pretty gross, but I guess that's
if that's what you need to do, that's what you need to do.
And also easy access, good storage for the makeup. She hasn't got like a little box with a mirror in the lid.
No, I mean, I don't think anyone's got time for that in that place.
Exactly, you kind of do what you need to do, really.
I do love the he was like praying to the V8, like praying to the engine as if an engine is actually like their god. It's a really cool sort of amalgamation of Norse mythology and just mechanics. It's so cool. It's like they've all got this idea of Valhalla, which is obviously taken from Norse mythology, but
obviously,
well, a lot of people are quite up to date with Norse mythology these days.
I don't know anyone who's up to date with Norse mythology.
No, really?
No. Okay, tell me about Norse mythology. Norse mythology, then.
What do you want to know?
What's the deal with this Valhalla guy?
Valhalla.
What is it?
Right, Valhalla is their equivalent of heaven, and it's where when they die in glorious battle, they go and join all of their ancestors and friends who have also died in glorious battle at the great the Great Hall, and they'll feast and drink and fight with Odin and Thor and all of them.
That's Greek mythology.
No, it's not. It's Norse. Greek mythology is like Hercules.
Oh, no, you're right. You're right.
So yeah, they've obviously taken this idea of Valhalla, and I think it's just cool the way that obviously it's a take on how like the apocalypse could go, because obviously everyone's seen vehicles as being a very like sought after thing. Like, I can imagine in the apocalypse, if you're in a desert, if you come across a vehicle, that's literally like a life-saving thing. So it's obviously highly regarded, even to the point where Immortal Joe's saying that water is irrelevant, and they've like got this weird sort of metabolism where all they do is sort of live off of like bloody blood bags, people, and like spray this chrome into their mouths, and like their bodies must just be messed up. They're just like live. I wouldn't be surprised if they literally are like eating cereal that's like oil and just nuts and bolts or something.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay. Throughout the whole of this film, from the point where they go and chase after Furiosa the first time, right to the end of the film, in Immortal Joe's war party, there is a guy playing guitar.
Yeah.
Playing electric. Like, there's a bunch of people playing drums. And first of all, I was thinking how pretty cool in the post-apocalyptic universe.
Yeah.
You've still got drums.
Drums are very easy to make.
First thing that comes back is drums, and I was thinking that was pretty cool.
Is it the first thing that comes back, Kieran, or is it just always there to begin with?
That's pretty good. I like that. But then the next thing to come back is, okay, let's make a massive stack of amps and have a guy on bungee cords on the front of a massive car and have him playing guitar, so that every time that the car goes forwards and backwards and brakes and stuff, doesn't matter what this guy's playing, he's not going to like fall off the truck and all that shit because he's got bungee cords attached to him, and he's constantly playing menacing guitar,
just chugging
music.
Away,
just fucking awesome.
Yeah, the guitarist is actually an Australian artist called Sean Hape. Or Happy, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Better known as Iota.
All right, so
or potentially Lota, depends.
Was that him on the actual track, or was it?
Yeah, no, that's like him actually like playing. He said that the guitar weighed 132 pounds and actually shot real gas-powered flames.
That's incredible.
How much fun must that have been to play?
I don't know how heavy 132 pounds is.
Me neither.
Wow, that's heavy.
How many pounds are in a kilogram?
Fuck, I don't know.
How many pounds in a gram?
I don't want to do conversions.
What's a pound?
What even is a pound?
I don't know. I can't think of what anything. I have no like measure. What's the word? Like reference in my head to measure that with.
I really don't care.
I imagine it's just heavy.
Okay. Anyway,
all the better for heavy metal.
Indeed. In the first big like cars blowing up and all this scene, the first time that Immortal Joe realizes that Furiosa's run away, they chase after her, they catch up with her, and shit goes down the first time.
Yeah.
And they're fighting and like shooting stuff, and they're running away and all of this. It's this massive big scene, and then they get into this massive like crazy tornado with like flames in it, bro. Like crazy shit. And they go into this place. I just had a bunch of bits and bobs.
Yeah, go for it.
Just from that. Okay. He pulls a massive truck horn. I thought that was cool.
It sounds weird as well. It doesn't sound like a normal truck horn, does it? It's got more like oomph to it.
Exactly. More oomph, yeah.
Yeah.
There's loads of traps that the people put in place as well.
I think there was one trap.
Well, it was a crazy trap. It was a
cool trap.
There were fuckloads of explosions.
Yeah.
I love the fact that there was a lock for the accelerator. So like you press down the accelerator.
Yeah.
But then if you stamp it down, it just stays on max, which I thought was pretty cool.
On the explosions, CGI was used like very minimally in the film, and like most of the explosions were actually real explosions.
I reckon the only explosion, the only thing that was really CGI was the big fire tornado, because you can't.
Yeah, you can't really like just replicate that and put people in it.
Yeah, just
apparently the CGI was mainly used just for like the environment and for Furiosa's arm, because obviously she has actually got an arm. So her arm was like CGI'd into looking like a robot arm. I'm always curious about how people do that in films when it's like an amputee, like how they.
Because I was thinking like when you saw her the second time when she doesn't have her robotic arm.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool. They've actually hired an amputee.
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Justice for amputees. Hire amputees for roles where someone is an amputee.
Exactly.
I like it when people do that, and then you see.
Well, it makes sense.
Exactly.
It's like I don't know what film it was, like some kind of Egyptian film where all of the actors were white in an Egyptian film.
Yeah, Gods of Egypt or something like that. I think it is.
Like go figure. That makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, really, really dumb.
So let's talk a little bit about the revival thing, where like there was this guy who so one of the Wall Boys got stabbed or got shot or something.
Yeah.
And he somehow managed to spray this. What was that? Like to spray this stuff in his mouth.
I think it's just like a drug. I think it's just like huffing glue or something. That's
like some mad
some sort of way
stuff.
of like turning bloody like speed into an aerosol can or something. Because I think like he was gonna die.
Yeah.
He was all like stabbed up because he got shot with some sort of crazy bolt gun thing.
Right.
So like he's got multiple bolts in him, one going all the way through his head. And like he pretty much is like dead, and then he sprays this stuff in him, and he's just like, "Witness me!" And then jumps into the car and explodes. Like he obviously did like a suicide move.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a little bit weird, and this thing kind of was like throughout, like as like a super pump yourself up, take some of this aerosol shit.
Yeah, I think that's all it is. It's just like some sort of like bloody amphetamine. Like let's go.
Cool. Jordan came over to my place for this one. And whilst we were watching the film, when we started watching the film, I realized that the washing machine was on, and I was like, "Ah, shit, that's gonna really mess with our enjoyment of the film." But just when the massive action scene started, the really big spin cycle happened on the washing machine, and the spin cycle ended just as the massive action scene ended. Yeah. Exactly. And so I just made a note that the washing machine was really well timed with the action scene.
I just tried to do a washing machine impression.
That was a really bad.
I don't know. Yeah, what washing machine sounds like that? Oh, really? Is that what it's? Keiran has a very strange washing machine. It's literally just our friend Mike comes round and just washes everything whilst doing that. Mike, can you please just keep it down? No, if you're not going to pay me, then this is what I'm going to be doing.
Okay, no, but yes. I really liked how. Oh, okay. Something we didn't mention earlier. When Tom was a prisoner, they put this massive like cage over his face, and he spent like a good third of the film with this cage over his face. And there was a moment when he finally managed to take the cage off his face, and the camera stayed on him as if to say, "Hey, look, he's got the cage off his face." Oh, finally get to see.
Didn't that feel like
beautiful face?
Like in terms of the audio. Because the scraping of because he was using like what's it called?
Saw,
like a chisel thing to get it off, and he's just like hacking at a file. Yeah, he's just filing away at it for ages, and then like the sound, the background sound like disappeared, and the sound of the filing increased as it was getting closer and closer to breaking, and then as it finally breaks, it's just like.
Oh yeah,
and it was a really like just satisfying point in the film. Like I felt like I was right there with him, and it was like,
that's the magic of cinema.
I can imagine it's the same sort of feeling as like when you have been wearing a bra all day and then you take it off, and it's just like I've been told many times that's sort of like
right. You've been told, have you?
Like relaxing. Yeah, I mean when I take off my bra, I'm always sad because then I'm not wearing a bra anymore, and that's always a really high point in my life.
When you're wearing bras,
yeah, I love it.
Okay.
I don't wear bras.
Is it the constraint of the bra that you like the most?
Well,
How many clips on the
keep
bra?
it around my knee just to keep my knee in place. So when I take it off, then my knee goes loose. And it falls out.
I had the impression that when you said I have it on my knee, that you actually keep both your knees together with a bra.
Yeah, well, it depends what I'm doing that day.
Okay. If you have to go out, you just wear it as like a knee pad.
Yeah, knee pads.
So when you're going skating, you put a bra on your knees instead of
going skating, dude, and using your mum's bra for my knee pads.
Your mum's? I mean, you've got a girlfriend, Jordan. I was thinking that you might use hers, but if you want to use your mum's one,
well, no, it was a sick burn, Keiran. That's what that was.
Right, a sick burn. The motocross is strong in this game. In this game, in this film.
What? Just the noise of the motors?
No. Like the motocross bikes. Those guys,
right?
They're fucking jumping over the truck, throwing grenades and shit. Like that was so bad. I used to play this motocross game. That must be so much
fun to film and do.
Oh, it was just
Trials, was it?
Oh my god, Trials! That was the best. Yeah.
If you remember Trials, why not send in an email at 250reasons@gmail.com?
Nice. Tweet us.
So beefs,
right? You have a beef?
Oh, I've got plenty of beefs. I mean, the first one is just around the script. I understand that the film was obviously supposed to be like high-octane, energetic driving. I haven't seen any of the previous Mad Max films, but I don't know. It was like just either do it or don't do it. Like what
speech?
Yeah, like what they wrote was just some of the lines were just so flat and like it just like uninspiring. A lot of like what the 5 women were given was just like. Very like just uninspiring. I'm just trying to think of an example. It was just like they're questioning stuff about Joe, and it's just like, then who killed the world? And it's just like
I don't know. I just feel like in this universe, there's not a whole lot of time and energy given towards people saying things meaningfully because all they're trying to do is survive. And also, and when they were shouting at Joe saying, "Oh, who killed the world?" and all of this stuff. They're just really pissed off, and that's all they can really think of. That's all their goal is to live somewhere where.
I suppose the film was never really supposed to be some sort of masterpiece in terms of words spoken. It's not like a Before Sunrise where it's all about what's being said.
Exactly.
It's more about what you're seeing on the screen, I guess.
Yeah, it's true. But then at the same time, I did still feel like I was being taken on with the story, despite how little dialogue there was. So I think there was a reasonable balance. I just feel like Tom Hardy doing Tom Hardy is basically speaking in a low gravelly voice.
Yeah.
Small poignant lines. Well, not even that poignant. Just little phrases that are very serious.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of action stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really develop like any sort of feelings towards any of the characters. I wasn't worried about them really. Like things that were happening were stressful, but it was more exciting than, you know, when you're watching something and you're really into the character and like you have a lot of.
I was really invested in the pixie cut woman.
Really? Okay. Why is that?
Because I had a massive crash on her.
Okay. All right. Well, that'll do it.
Yeah, she was so badass and also extremely attractive. So yeah, you know,
that's fair enough. She was good at counting bullets.
Oh, and also there's one of my favorite fucking things where I was like, that's so badass is when Furiosa was fixing the truck whilst they were driving. And so she was holding on to the bottom of the truck. Yeah. Like, just hanging off the bottom of it whilst...
That just seemed to be the thing, didn't it? Like,
it was just normal.
The war boy under there as well, and he was doing some fixing, like, inside the truck whilst they were going. Like, that's
I guess
crazy.
They didn't have the time, and they would just get caught up by everyone. Okay, I've got a bunch of beefs about some stuff. When they chucked all the water through just on top of the Citadel. Like,
stupidly.
They stupid. This is the point.
Yeah.
Very inefficient water distribution. Like, so bad.
I'm starting to think maybe that he actually, because you never really get a sense of how much they have. I'm starting to think that maybe actually he had quite a lot.
Yeah, I get the impression
you have to do that. Otherwise, you are just being an absolute idiot.
Well, I think he's just being an absolute idiot.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably quite fair. Yeah. I've got a beef here that literally just says bloody convenience.
What?
I don't know. I think what I meant was just the fact that it's pretty convenient that Mad Max is like a all-round donor. Like, it's just like, well, that worked out nicely, didn't it?
He can donate blood to any given blood
literally.
type. Well, there is one blood type that does work with most of them.
No, there is a universal donor. It's either AB or O. I can't remember. It's the other one. Sure. It's one or the other. Like AB can take everyone's, but O can give or something like that.
Right. Okay. One of the biggest beefs that we both looked at each other for at the same time, we briefly spoke about, was there was this point where Furiosa was negotiating with people, or she was basically speaking to people, and she was like, "All right, if shit goes down, you drive the car and get us the fuck out of here." But he was at the underneath the truck,
under a hatch, underneath the truck, watching the other women. And she's out making the deal.
She says, now!
And we see him under the truck just before she does that. And then she's like, full! And then
they instantly start driving away.
The truck is going. Like, how did you get from under... Like, how did you anticipate... Like, no, having it.
That wouldn't have
not
happened.
Having it, Tom.
There's at least
I'm
a
not
3-second delay. Yeah, bullshit.
That's really all I've got in terms of beef, to be honest. It was a pretty
beefless film.
Yeah, there wasn't enough to happen to make me annoyed. It was just, it did what it was a film about driving cars and like wastelands, and it did that very well. And
also all of the stunts, you could tell all of the stunts were real. And so I wasn't like, oh, that stunt just wouldn't have happened. They're so completely unrealistic. Yeah. Like, there were a lot of shots that were made that were just incredibly good shots.
Yeah.
Like her as a sniper, Furiosa being a sniper, she's like the best fucking sniper I've ever seen. So that was really, really badass. There wasn't anything that was mad unrealistic. I think
watching this did make me. I doubt you probably played it, but there's a game called Burnout that was a driving game.
Is it related to Fallout?
No.
Wait. Burnout.
Yeah, it's a driving game.
Hold on a second. Maybe.
Well, yeah, no, it's a game all about like racing, but the aim is sort of to like crash other people's cars.
You have Norse.
You do, yeah.
And the more that you shoot, the more
Kieran's literally got his hands in the sky.
The more that you bump into people, the more Norse you get. Oh my god, I played that game!
You get a reference that I made.
A pop culture reference! Yes, I totally completed that game.
Yeah, well, there you go. Like, it made me really want to play that game, because it's just like all the crashing into cars and stuff, and just like... all that stuff.
Yeah, that stuff was great.
Love that shit.
Yeah, that was really, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, but in terms of beef, that's me pretty much done, to be honest.
Cool. If you were a person in this film, who would you be? What would you be?
If I was a person in this film, to be honest, I'd probably want to be that fat dude. And just like, just chill, not leave. Just because whatever he's doing well. Because like he's literally just got like a club foot, and like one dude was just cleaning it for him or something. And he's just his name was like something the man eater or something like that. So he's obviously just a cannibal. He's just living the life like up in like Gastown. That was like one actually, yeah. He is my final beef, because they had that one bit where he's like, they're driving along and he's just got this ledger out and he's just like, we've lost 36 gallons of oil. And it's just like, all right, first of all, quick maths, fair enough. And you've done like a nice bit of administration whilst on this thing. But that's the issue, is like, you've been driving. How have you managed to do a stock take? Like, how have you managed to get this information like all centralized and like, right, okay, can everyone just go around, just do a quick head count? How many cars we got left?
Can we do an
how much gas have we got left? Like, how have you got that in a figure? Like, I don't understand.
That's pretty cool. I did really like that there was someone taking care of admin.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that. Yeah. That was cool. And in fact, if I was going to be someone in this film, I would have been the person doing admin, because I like doing admin.
So we both would have just been him.
Maybe. Yeah, I suppose so. Oh, I remember a beef that we had.
Oh, go on.
Okay, quickly going back to that.
Yeah.
In like the last massive fight scene where they kill Immortal Joe.
Yeah.
Just before, I think maybe just after they kill Immortal Joe, in
right.
fact. There's Immortal Joe's son, who's this big meathead guy, who doesn't look too dissimilar from The Rock, to be fair.
Yeah.
And so they've all got guns in this film. Everyone's got a gun, and everyone's got bullets at this point. And yet, when it comes to fighting the big, massive meathead guy, you know what would be really great at this point? Hand-to-hand combat with the biggest fucking guy in the film.
Yeah, dumb, isn't it?
Just shoot the guy.
Yeah, just shoot. He's not times. If we should probably start making a tally for the amount of times just shoot the guy tally. Like, you've got a gun and you're not shooting him. Like, that happened right at the start of the film as well, when the old lady's in the like place where he keeps all of the women, and she's got this shotgun, and he's just like, where are they? And she's like, he has to walk towards her for like a good like minute or so, and it's like, just shoot him. Shoot him.
Exactly. She wanted to do her speech before she could shoot him.
Yeah.
Just fucking shoot him.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Oh, it would have been it would have been dealt with so much quicker. If you want to bring someone from another film,
Will Smith from Wild Wild West.
I don't know that film.
No, I need to stop bringing Will Smith into things. Just because it's another one.
Well, it's either bringing Harrison Ford in from other Harrison Ford films.
Yeah.
Or bringing in Will Smith.
Indiana Jones would probably be quite fun to watch in this.
He would, but I don't think he drives cars as well as everyone else.
Yeah, okay. Maybe one of the actual cars from Cars. That might be quite fun.
That would be so funny. I don't think Lightning McQueen would be able to deal with.
No, he's not an all-terrain vehicle, is he?
No, he really.
What about
isn't.
the rusty truck though? We could bring him in, maybe, and he'd just like be like miles behind.
I'm rooting for you.
And it's just like they kind of just keep him because it's useful to have a sentient truck, but but in terms of like doing war boy searching and stuff like that, it's not really not going to cut it.
Yeah.
What about you? Would you bring someone in?
I don't know. It'd be cool if someone was flying all this time.
Yeah, just bring in a whole other sort of like level into it. What would you do though? I mean, you could bring someone from the film Planes, so it's like the cars, but
I don't know anything about that. No, it'd be a bit shit. No, I don't know if I'd bring in anyone else from this film, because I feel like enough of it got sorted out.
Tom Cruise from Top Gun, maybe.
I don't know, because I've not seen that film either, so I don't know what that's about.
Maybe E.T. I don't know. Fuck it. I'm just being silly now. just comes in.
You know, it'd be great if there was some Wingardium Leviosa in this film.
Oh, fuck off!
Just bring Hermione in.
No Harry Potter, please. No, this is strictly a Harry Potter free zone. Unless Harry Potter fucking dies, then no.
Fuck off, Jordan. Harry Potter's great. Would you stay indoors to watch this film?
Yeah, no, I'd stay indoors to watch this film. It is what it is. It's a racing action, like fire explosions, and it delivers all of that really well. There's a sprinkling of somewhat interesting story, but if you're coming for this film for a story, then I mean, I don't think that's the kind of thing that you'd want out of it. I think what it says it delivers well, and yeah, I'd stay indoors for it.
I liked all the characters, and I really liked how the characters stayed like true to their goal in the film, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And all of the effects and just the action scenes were amazing, just ridiculous, but all believable.
Yeah,
essentially.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is what I liked most about it, because when you see action scenes that are just ridiculous, that are just mental,
it's like, painful, isn't it?
Okay, that's kind of a bit extra. Like, I don't know, like Avengers and shit. It's wonderful for the fantasy of it, but I preferred this kind of action stuff more.
Yeah.
Also because it was relentless. Like, all the action scenes were each at least 15 minutes long.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for that. In terms of like, I don't think there was much, in terms of like hand-to-hand combat and stuff like that, there wasn't much of that. So the majority of it was just like crashing cars and like people jumping from cars to cars and shooting. And I think they stuck to that and they didn't really move away from that, which isn't an issue because they were doing it well. So yeah, I mean, I No, I've got nothing else to add to that.
That's cool. I would stay indoors for this film.
Yeah. Okay, so stay indoors.
What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Were you just trolling me this whole time?
Welcome to the end of the podcast, guys.
You were just trolling me the whole time.
Yeah, that was that.
I was waiting to do my outro.
Yeah, no, I hijacked it. So you can find us on Facebook, Twitter.
Can't believe it.
Instagram. You can follow us.
I feel so done.
You can follow us on some of those things. You can also listen to us.
I'm taking off my earphones.
Spotify. You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, all of those good things. And yeah, just
not having this. I'm on strike.
It keeps me young.
Pick up my pen and drop it down again.
Bye, guys.